What is good, people? Welcome back to my channel. So EA UFC 6 has just dropped major update patch notes, tackling some of the biggest issues the player base has had with the game. From the infinite stamina problems to the unrealistic amount of knockdowns and the ugly flow state visuals, EA has finally addressed a lot of the community's biggest complaints. Today we're diving into the patch notes, breaking down every major change, and I'll give my thoughts on what these updates mean for the game. So let's get into it. So when you come to the official UFC 6 news website, you will see there are 5 different chapters in the breakdown. Your feedback matters, flow state toggle, stamina counters, flow state, and knockdowns. Starting with your feedback matters, it says, "We've been closely following your feedback and we want to start by saying thank you again. Your matches, comments, clips, and conversations has helped us better understand what's feeling great and what needs more tuning and where players want more control over their experience. One area where we've heard about clearly is flow state. While the feature adds another competitive layer to UFC 6, many of you have asked for more choice in how it's presented. On July 5th, we're adding a new flow state visual effects toggle that lets you turn off the visual and audio effects tied to flow state while keeping the underlying gameplay mechanic intact. We've also heard your feedback around stamina, counters, fighter balance, and the number of knockdowns happening in fights. These changes will arrive in a future update. However, we wanted to give you an early look at what we're working on, why we're making these adjustments, and how they're designed to create a more rewarding, competitive, and authentic gameplay experience." What can I say, man? It's very good that EA UFC 6 are actually listening to us for once. It felt to me like the whole time through UFC 5 they did not listen to us and they gave us a bullshit game that nobody wanted. It was just a copy and paste of UFC 4. It feels like they've tried to make it up to us with UFC 6 and they're going above and beyond to make sure this game is perfect, which I really appreciate. The next chapter is flow state visual effects toggle. On July 15, we'll add a flow state visual effects toggle that lets players turn off the visuals and audio effects associated with flow state in both online and offline gameplay. This setting only affects the presentation of flow state. The underlying mechanics and functionality will remain unchanged. To maintain gameplay clarity and competitive fairness, we're also adding a new HUD indicator that will show when a fighter enters flow state. This is where you'll be able to access the new flow state effects toggle and how flow state gameplay will look with the toggle set to off. Then they give us this demonstration of what it will look like.
Big shots being landed up. Oh. That Holloway just shot 6 3-pointers like Michael Jordan did that one time. And Mike was like, I don't know.
I personally think that this change is too subtle and that you're not going to be able to notice if they've gone into flow state if you're not paying attention. I would have liked maybe the HUD glows and like pulsates so that your eye is drawn to it so you know for a fact that they're in flow state. Right now, if they turn flow state, if you're not paying attention to that meter bar that decreases, you're hardly going to notice that they've gone flow state. But I am extremely happy that they got rid of the visuals for flow state. I don't know how this got past the pitch meeting, and I think they overestimated how much people want an arcadey UFC game, and universally the community does not like this, so I'm glad they've removed it because it is the most arcadey gimmicky thing about this game. Unfortunately, the flow state mechanic itself is not going anywhere, but at least we have the visuals gone. The next chapter is stamina and counters live in a future update. We've heard feedback that stamina is abundant. There is also a widespread sense of not being rewarded enough for outplaying an opponent, making them miss and hitting them with counters. These scenarios are especially frustrating when the opponent is a stronger fighter who keeps being able to throw many strikes after missing a lot. Although we didn't actually make stamina more abundant from UFC 5 to UFC 6, many things changed around stamina. Combos are much faster and more fluid, which can feel like something that favors stamina. On the other hand, defense is also much stronger, with evasions being much faster and little less risky than previous titles. Fighters do not end fights with much stamina as evidenced by our direct observations and telemetry analysis. Nevertheless, abundant stamina feedback is very valid. Based on these factors, we're targeting stamina adjustments that will meaningfully improve the overall gameplay experience. Increasing the stamina cost for missed and evaded shots. This will reward skillful play, being accurate and making opponents miss, evading strikes and countering, as the opponent will take more damage if their stamina is low after their strike is evaded. Decrease in the long-term stamina recovery between rounds. This will highlight the strategy of surviving early rounds against power strikes, then turning up the heat once they're tired in the later rounds. I'm so glad this change is coming. This is probably the major gameplay change that we all have been asking for. We've all been sick and tired of the 150, 160 strikes around. The fighters that throw and they can miss and miss, and they throw kicks from the other side of the octagon and just keep winging them. And it doesn't matter how much they miss, they still have stamina. Now, hopefully, we can get to skillful, precise striking, being dominant and not spamming. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants this to be an arcade game. The next chapter is flow state balance live in a future update. Based on our observations of fights and telemetry, some flow states are overperforming. Aside from affecting the flow state themselves, these changes will also indirectly help to address the issue of some fighters being overpowered. The flow states we plan to address are the ones that allow fighters to use multiple buffed attacks within combinations, which makes the effects too powerful for how easy they are to implement in quick succession. And then they list below the flow states that they will target. They are Tiger, Laser Focus, Point Down, and Electric Eel. This is something that I have noticed, but I don't know what the specifics are, like what specific flow state trait it is that does this, because I don't use flow state. I refuse to use it because I hate how arcadey and gimmicky it is. So I have noticed that when certain fighters go flow state, they become demons and you literally can't even attempt to strike with them. You just have to keep on running and trying to evade. I'm glad that they have taken this out, but all it does is bolster my argument that flow state is arcadey and gimmicky and it shouldn't be in the game, man. I really dislike when I'm playing this game and I'm destroying my opponent and they're losing, but they can turn Super Saiyan in an instant, get a power boost and try and make a comeback that is often successful. I find it so frustrating. I wish personally flow state was taken out completely. The final chapter is knockdowns live in a future update. We've heard feedback on the number of knockdowns. There are often too many in a fight. We're decreasing the number of health events, stuns and knockdowns that have to accumulate before any other health event becomes a knockout. The change will apply not only to the head but also to the legs. Please note that this change does not prevent flash KOs, it only makes KOs by accumulation easier to achieve. Body TKOs are currently happening at an appropriate rate, largely because the body health events already have significant impact on stamina. As a result, we're leaving the body TKO tuning unchanged for now. Thanks again for continuing to play and help shape the UFC 6 experience. We'll continue monitoring gameplay, review your comments, and making updates that improve gameplay balance and overall feel. Keep the discussion going, and we'll see you in the octagon. This is another huge W for UFC 6 and it's going to be majorly game changing. This is going to get rid of this stupid comeback logic where you're destroying your opponent and you've dropped them like 5, 6, 7, 8 times, but somehow they can come back. Now they won't have the chance to come back because you would have already finished them. I don't know why it took them so long to do this because this has been a problem since EA UFC 3, but let's just thank them for finally fixing it, and this can be a problem that we can move on from. But that is all of the new gameplay updates they are adding to the game. I can say overall I think this is a huge W. Every single one of them is a major change that is desperately needed in this game. But I want to know what you guys have to say. Let me know in the comment section, what change do you think is the best? If you don't think they're good, what change is it that you have a problem with? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content I got coming your way, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.